and Derek Kraus. Row 4, Dylan Murray and Spencer Davis. Row number 5, championship point leader on the E Series. You heard from him. That is Sam Mayer, 16 years of age. Riley Herbst in the 54 machine lines up on the outside. Colin Garrett and Dale Quarterly, those are the drivers that make up row number 6. Row 7, it's New York native Robert Pulowski and John Wood. And in row number 8, Travis Milburn and Bill Hoff. Shotgun on the field, the number 19 machine, Brandon Jones. Jim Trado, why is the 19 car starting shotgun on the field?
Well, the same driver out of Atlanta, Brandon Jones, that's racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series Zippo 200 tomorrow. So Bill McAnally brought a second car here for Brandon. It's car number 19. It starts dead last on the grid. They lost the motor during practice today. I'm in their pit box now. They finally got it fixed. So the new motor they dropped in actually had a small leak, a small issue. So they replaced the valve cover gasket literally minutes ago, presented that car to the grid here. So Brandon Jones in car 19, the TRD 40th anniversary Toyota, will start last in the field in car 19. We'll look for that veteran to move forward. Brandon Jones, again, motor issue in practice. The new motor had a little issue. They fixed that. They're now on the grid. Let's hope he can move forward. His crew chief reminding him as well that after the halfway break, that's when the race will really get interesting. So they want to get Brandon in position through this field early on, but carefully in doing so.
That is the story with Brandon Jones. These drivers had a practice session earlier this morning, and that is when Brandon Jones had the engine expire on that number 19 machine. He came out for qualifying, didn't get a whole lap in, but it appears, from what Jim Trado tells us, they have that problem rectified and should be good to go here at the drop of the green. A lot on the line here. Not only which driver is going to go to Gatorade Victory Lane, but we got to keep an eye on the points. The NASCAR K&N Pro Series East. Sam Mayer, by virtue of his win last week in Iowa, has retaken the points lead and just a scant 6 points over Derek Kraus. 12 points back as Chase Cabry. Tanner Gray, the former drag racer, 4th in the championship points, and Max McLaughlin, your point lead, or I should say your pole sitter, is 5th in the championship points. So the race within the race, who is going to be crowned the champion, a lot will be determined here today in the Great Outdoors RV Superstore 100 at the Glen. Field is up in turn number 6 in front of the Sir Jackie Stewart grandstands. Great to see you up there. A beautiful sight indeed. These machines making their way slowly around this 2.45 mile course as we get ready to go racing the Great Outdoors RV Superstore 100 here at the Glen. Glad to have you with us. This is our Fast Friday. Bringing down the curtain on our Fast Friday. Going to do it in grand style. The NASCAR K&N Pro Series East. Flying one at the line, going green next time by here at Watkins Glen. That beautiful Toyota Pace vehicle, lights go out atop of it. And when we get back to the start-finish line, the green flag is going to be in the air. It's going to get loud, and it is going to get good. Up there in the flag stand, getting ready to wave that green flag, L.J. Parkhurst. Youngster is going to wave that green flag. He assures me that he has experience doing this, and he has practiced, and he's going to be good. He's going to be ready. Looking forward to seeing it. Looking forward to going to racing. We have had practice sessions for the Xfinity Series today. We have had practice sessions for this NASCAR K&N Pro Series East today. We've had qualifying, but now it is time to get down to business.
We talked to the youngster who's going to wave the flag just a little bit ago. Made a point to stop up here and see us, since he has a lot of racing in his background, which is really cool to be able to now to come and fly the green flag for this event. It's always fun. We get to meet the starters and all that here.
Yeah, Dad's a dirt late model driver, and the kids, they're heavily involved in the sport, so that's it's good to see. Max McLaughlin, the #1 machine. He is your pole sitter. First time ever at a road course, and my oh my, doing it in style. Now, that being said, this Hattori Racing team brought a potent machine to Watkins Glen International. This is the same car that went to Gatorade Victory Lane last year in this event. Brett Moffitt was behind the wheel then, came from well back in the field and drove up to the front. So this is a very potent machine that Max McLaughlin has underneath him. Also, he's got a dad that has gone to Gatorade Victory Lane here at Watkins Glen International. Magic Shoes, Mike McLaughlin, the dad of our pole sitter, of course. Magic Shoes went to Gatorade Victory Lane here in Xfinity Series competition, so the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Guys, keep your eyes on turn 1, the 90. These guys have practiced single file for a lot of it. Make sure you stay. Keep your eyes peeled. This is going to, from single file practices.
Good point, Crispy.
Yeah, to
all they've been doing all day is practice in single file.
Single file practice.
Now they have to sort it out, double file, and get down through the 90 cleanly. Very good point.
Once you get through the 90 into the first part of the S's, then they'll try to single out as much as they can. This is going to get very, very interesting as they come towards that final turn, getting ready for the green flag here for the Great Outdoors RV 100 at the Glen. The pace car makes a turn onto pit lane. Pace car is in, flag is in hand. Let's get ready to get this race underway.
LJ Parkhurst up in the stand. He waves the green flag, and we're racing.
Here we go, guys. Keep your eyes. Turn 1. Still side by side going down into turn 1. Single file, the first couple will stretch out single file through there.
McLaughlin gets the jump on the field, and the number 17 machine of Ty Gibbs takes over the second spot. Gibbs will go P2. That'll bump the 15 machine of your outside pole sitter, Tanner Gray, back to the third spot.
Down the backstretch for the first time and heading towards the inner loop. A couple of cars still a little further deep side by side. How is that going to work out going into the inner loop? They're squeezing.
Through the inner loop, everybody makes it through there cleanly, and look at the advantage that Max McLaughlin has opened up in short order. Off of the carousel turn down into turn number 6 for the first time at speed. We got a jockeying for position just inside the top 10. Looks like it's the number 7 machine of Dylan Murray that takes a spot. Here we go, lap 1 in the books. And it is Max McLaughlin. Side by side down into corner number 1. Riley Herbst on the outside, Chase Cambry on the inside. They'll make it through there cleanly. Riley Herbst gets the spot, move him up 1 position. They are still at it through the S's. Cambry backpedaling through the field. Now he's under assault from Sam Mayer in the 21. There it is on the ISM Vision screen. Spencer Davis has gotten by Cambry. Sam Mayer has gotten by Cambry. So the driver who comes in here third in the championship points and started well up in the field is backsliding. We got one going around. Ruben Garcia Jr. Looks like everybody's going to miss him. That is in the carousel, and Ruben Garcia Jr. is able to get that machine righted and pointed in the right direction. Wow, great job by those drivers. Everybody misses Ruben Garcia Jr. as he goes around up in the carousel.
Yeah, that was very tough position. Blind kind of a corner, and coming out of the inner loop right there, making that hard right. But everybody was able to avoid them. They come back across start-finish line. You can see the gap that McLaughlin has pulled out, almost a couple of second lead now.
We should mention that at the halfway point or thereabouts, there will be a 5-minute break. So there won't be live pit stops. If it's a live pit stop, it's because you have a problem. There's going to be a halfway break at or near the conclusion of lap number 21. 41 circuits make up the entire distance here in this 100-mile event. We look up at our ISM Vision screens. Dale Quarterly now being pressured by Derek Kraus. Kraus gets the position going into the inner loop. That is racing for the 9th position. Move it up. Derek Kraus now P9. And on the move, moving on up, is Brandon Jones in the number 19 machine. Brandon Jones started shotgun on the field. We documented the fact that he had some engine issues in practice, had a little bit of an oil leak in qualifying, got both of those situations cleared up, and Brandon Jones is on the move in that Toyota number 19. Brandon Jones into the 10th position. Brandon Jones, full-time competitor on the NASCAR Xfinity Series, getting a little extra seat time here at Watkins Glen in preparation for tomorrow's Zippo 200. This is a car, the number 19 machine. This is a Brandon Jones number 19 machine that comes to us from Bill McAnally Racing, so it's a potent machine. The 08 has pulled behind the wall. That is Eagle, Idaho's Travis Milburn. Travis Milburn, a veteran of 59 career NASCAR K&N Pro Series West starts, making his 4th career East Series start, and it's going to be a short one. Travis Milburn behind the wall in the 08. So the lead for Max McLaughlin is 5 seconds. That's an oh my advantage in short order. Just 4 laps in the books, so Max McLaughlin is picking him up and laying him down here in the early going.
Of course, that all can go away once we hit that halfway point. You know, do you burn up your tires? Do you put the pressure on now to say, hey, look how strong my car is? Knowing that you got that halfway break, it's not like it's a caution coming out. You know it's coming. So it's like, do you push just to see what your car has and then give it a rest and lay back a little, knowing that the second half you have that power still?
And this just in, but the trophy isn't any bigger, the check isn't any bigger, and you don't get more points if you lay a whooping on them.
Exactly correct. Exactly. Now, but if this were the second half after the timeout midway, yeah, I'd want to put a whooping on them to show them exactly what kind of speed, what kind of power my team and my car has. But again, do you burn up the tires now?
Yeah, when they come in for that halfway break. Let's go downstairs and check in with Jim Trado, who has more on our leader, Max McLaughlin.
Well, Dean and Crispy, to your point about conservation and making sure the tires last for all 41 laps, the communication on Max McLaughlin, our race leader's radio just a moment ago, was about saving tires, having enough for potentially a restart late in their going. So they do not want to punish these tires now. They're trying to warn their driver to maintain pace and don't push it. 4 general tires underneath that number 1 machine. So they're already talking about making sure we have enough. If there's a restart late, we need to have some rubber underneath this as well as a good race car. So don't burn it up right now.
Well, and again, Max McLaughlin, a rookie here in 2019 on the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East Trail. Just 19 years of age, and not any great experience to fall back on the pavement. And as we said, his first road course race, so it's really, you're really kind of trying to rein in that driver, that young driver with a fast horse, and trying to rein him in and do a little saving and conservation, because that, as Jim Trado mentioned, you got to have the horse still under you late in this run. And if we do get a late restart, you want to make sure that you are ready to go and you have full capabilities there. Six laps are in the books. 41 make up the distance here. Again, we will have a halfway break. So 35 to go, but our halfway break is going to be at about lap number 21. Leader is up in turn number 6. That Mohawk sponsored number 1 for Max McLaughlin. We talked about this being a fast ride. And again, it went to Gatorade Victory Lane 1 year ago with Brett Moffitt behind the wheel. And Max McLaughlin is showing that indeed he has a very potent machine. He was your pole sitter, and he has led it from the drop of the green. The advantage that he has now over second running Ty Gibbs is in excess of 8 seconds. So, wow, picking up over a second a lap. That is impressive, to say the least. Through the S's, here they come, mid-pack. Derek Kraus, Chase Cabry, Spencer Davis. They are racing hard up through the S's. So there comes that group that we talked about through the inner loop. Brandon Jones trying to get around the number 30 machine of Spencer Davis. Remember, Brandon Jones started last on the field and making his way up towards the front. We talked about the fact that this is a potent machine. We're going to head back downstairs where Jim Trado has an update on Brandon Jones.
Yeah, we mentioned he started last. They said, hey, take it easy, take it easy. Well, guess what? He's here to learn this racetrack. He knows he has a very potent Toyota from Bill McAnally Racing. His teammate is Derek Kraus in the blue number 16 on track. But Brandon has a lot of laps here, and they don't want to get involved in the championship chase, as the number 30 of Spencer Davis is the car he's racing with now. Davis and the Red Jones Racing number 30 is racing for the... So they're saying, make sure you are not being held up by the 30, but please be cautious around him. So Brandon Jones, again, in this practice, if you will, in a race in the 19, is working to get ahead of the number 30, but not at the cost of causing damage or a championship.
Good battle heating up between Tanner Gray, Jim, and Dylan Murray, battling for the third spot. Max McLaughlin continuing to lead the way here in the Great Outdoors RV Superstore 100 for the K&N Pro Series East. McLaughlin powering that number 1 down the back straightaway. And Dean, this was a car that Brett Moffitt went to victory lane with here a year ago. And you go back another year, Ryan Truex had a very strong run in this number 1 car. So every time Shiggy Hattori and Hattori Racing Enterprises come to Watkins Glen, they're always a favorite to win in this event.
Yeah, I want to run this car.
Even you can win in it.
What are you saying?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. But boy, he's got a commanding lead.
does.
You were looking at the lap times. I mean, he's 1 second faster than Ty Gibbs in his best lap out onto the racetrack, and he continues to turn him on. Here's that battle we were watching. This is a battle for third. Tanner Gray trying to hold off the hard-charging road course ace Dylan Murray.
And they're up in turn number 6 now, heading to turn 7. Dylan Murray having a busy weekend. He's going to be in Road America during this weekend for their sports car weekend. Here tonight in the Great Outdoors RV Superstore 100. That is the number 7 machine. They're down into turn number 1, the 90, the right-hander, and Dylan Murray just shadowing Tanner Gray.
Murray's got a lot of experience here at this racetrack, too. He ran the Michelin Pilot Challenge Series event here when IMSA was in town here at Watkins Glen in the month of June. He won that race. It was his first win driving a Mercedes. Yesterday, as you mentioned, he was racing as a test out at Road America because he'll be racing back there again tomorrow in IMSA competition. He flew all the way here, 700 miles in a propeller airplane. They had to stop and get fuel on the way here to Watkins Glen.
Really?
Got here at 2 a.m. and ready to go racing. He's putting on a show here in that Jefferson Pitts number 7. Very good run right now in 4th.
Well, that Jefferson Pitts team, that's a team that comes from the West Coast. They always bring a strong race car to this event. They have been at this event for several years, have Jerry Pitts and Jeff Jefferson. And, well, Brandon Jones off the pace. The 19 car, Brandon Jones off the pace. His day has been long.
Boy, tough day for him. He was inside the top 10, had the problems earlier in the day. Today, the team thrashed to get the motor replaced on that number 19 for Brandon Jones, but he will bring out the caution flag here as problems continue for his entry.
First caution flag of this event. And it comes out on lap number 11, which is prior to that caution flag. We saw John Wood take the number 38 machine back behind the wall.
Let's hear more on the Brandon Jones story with Jim Trado.
Thanks to Racing Electronics monitoring his team radio, the number 19 of Brandon Jones said it felt like the car was being starved on fuel. And now they can't get it to fire at all. He said it just quit and I can't refire it. They're going to talk about getting the car to pit road to add fuel. Perhaps that is the issue, but that's what Brandon said. The condition was just like it was just starved on fuel as he was out on course.
Well, thank you, Jim. Up on the ISM Vision screen, he's paused just out of the S's on the back straightaway here at Watkins Glen International, and field circulating along here behind the pace machine as we are now under the first caution flag, 11 laps in to this afternoon's event, day 1 of a big 3-day weekend here at Watkins Glen International.
We got a hint, or a taste, I should say, of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. They had 2 practice sessions today. Of course, they will headline tomorrow in the Zippo 200. They'll qualify and race tomorrow, the Zippo 200. And then the NASCAR Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series headlines, of course, on Sunday. Go bowling at the Glen Cup Series. It's going to be a great weekend.
We've had some awesome finishes in that race. Last year, I mean, who could forget that breathtaking final lap? Chase Elliott trying to get that first win in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, goes skating down through turn 1, completely missed the turn. Martin Truex was right there. What an exciting finish a year ago in the Go Bowling at the Glen. Could we see that again here Sunday afternoon? Well, all the indicators are that we will. And the Cup cars will be here on track tomorrow for the first time when their garage area opens up. And boy, that's going to kick off a very exciting race.
Yeah, the Cup Series has a couple of practice sessions tomorrow, and then they'll qualify tomorrow. They will actually qualify after the Zippo 200 for the Xfinity Series machines. So they will bring down the curtain on our Saturday tomorrow, will the Cup machines. So you want to be back here. Of course, as Crispy and I said before, kids tomorrow at all NASCAR Xfinity Series race, 12 and under, admitted free. Bring the kids back. Great way to introduce them not only to racing here at the Glen, but to NASCAR racing. It's, again, kids 12 and under free all season long NASCAR Xfinity Series events.
The cool thing about road courses is that, it's going to be a beautiful weekend. And if you've come to the road course here at Watkins Glen International many, many times before, then you know you can always bounce around. Check out different places to watch the racing action. See how the cars launch off the corner onto the front straightaway. See how they come cruising through the S's. You can walk around and experience a lot of different things and see things that you don't see when you go to oval tracks here at this racetrack. And it's a lot of fun.
There's a group since the Formula One days that they've been coming here since, and they just move along the fence line. They constantly just move along the fence line. They have it timed out that they can start at one location, get back to that same location for the end of the race. But they have just perfected that, going all the way back to the Formula One days here at Watkins Glen. So loyal fans who have figured out how to do it right.
Some of the best fans in all of motorsports. Indeed. We see some of the spotters up there on our ISM Vision screens. That's in the S's. And Joe, Crispy and I talked about this earlier. It takes about 3 or 4 spotters per car to get this, to get a driver around this 2.45 mile track, because there's no place with the hills and the changes of elevation and the twists and curves. There's no place for one spotter to see the car all the way around the track. So they're relying on, they're dropping, the spotter will drop to the next spotter, to the next spotter. So in the S's, we have spotters. Up on our vantage point here, high above the start-finish line, we have spotters. And over in the inner loop, we have spotters just to help these drivers get around this 2.45 mile course.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like how MRN will have their radio broadcast on Saturday and Sunday afternoon of this weekend, where they've got folks positioned up there in the S's in the bus stop coming here towards the finish line, and even some of the drivers out on track trying to eye the competition from the spotter stand. You saw there a moment ago Noah Gragson as he's eyeing the competition. Remember, he came up through this series in the K&N Pro Series East. That's how he made his name into the NASCAR Xfinity Series, of course in the Truck Series first, and then the NASCAR Xfinity Series, now driving for Junior Motorsports. And he will be here on track tomorrow for the Zippo 200.
Yeah, looking forward to it. This I had an opportunity to hear Gregson talk this week, comparing the 2 road courses that NASCAR runs on, the NASCAR Cup Series runs on, Sonoma and here at Watkins Glen, and he said it's really night and day. This course is so fast, and the turns, you're carrying so much speed through the corners. It's almost, in some respects, almost like a super speedway, he said, whereas Sonoma is much slower and more technical.
Very technical. As a matter of fact, when you watch the race from the other wine country, you can notice that much slower speeds, running around 92 mile an hour average speed around that place. But here, when you just stand right as close to the front stretch as you can, it is like being at Daytona, being somewhere else. Jim Trado down in the 19 pit.
They're actually trying to change the fuel pump right now. They turned the engine over, did not fire, no fuel's getting to the engine, so they're going to try to change the fuel pump on this long caution period here, this long caution lap. Maybe a savior for them, but again, Brandon Jones not racing for points. This is a team that has had Haley Deegan in the car for a half a dozen races this season on the K&N East Series, so the owner's points may be at play, but getting this car righted, getting that fuel pump change from the Toyota team with Bill McAnally Racing here. They're going to go a lap down now as the leaders are rolling past start finish. They remain on pit road. The engine is still off. They're changing the fuel pump on this Toyota Camry for Brandon Jones.
That Toyota Supra Pace vehicle leads the field. That is nose to tail. Let's run you down through the top 10. Max McLaughlin is your race leader. He's led it from the drop of the green. Spencer Davis down pit lane. Spencer Davis was just outside the top 10. Second is Ty Gibbs. Tanner Gray is third. Dylan Murray fourth. Riley Herbst fifth. Second 5 looks like this: Sam Mayer, Chase Cabry, Derek Kraus, Ruben Garcia Jr., and Colin Garrett.
Dale Quarterly sitting 11th. Good to see Dale back in competition here again in the K&N Pro Series. Spencer Davis is 12th. Bill Holt is 13th. Robert Plowski, the local driver, 14th. Brandon Jones on pit road is 15th. John Wood back behind the wall is 16th, and 17th. Travis Milburn here. We're 13 laps in to the Great Outdoors RV Superstore 100. Max McLaughlin, he's had the dominant car all day long. Practice, qualifying, and now in the first 13 laps of this race. And it's worth noting, Crispy, you had mentioned a moment ago that at lap 21 or thereabouts, we'll have that halfway 5-minute break for everybody to recalibrate. And so when we get back to the green flag, it'll be a short little stint here to get to that halfway point.
And again, one thing, if you look, the skies have started to cloud up a little bit. So that's going to change the track temperature. It's going to change the grip on the tires, which have been heated up. We've gone through a heat cycle now. They're cooling back down. It's going to be interesting to see how they go down into turn 1.
Well, not many of the drivers who are in this field have got a lot of track experience here. Because this is a developmental series, the drivers come here, they run for a year or two, and then they work their way up through into NASCAR's National Series. Well, a lot of the drivers, when I asked them earlier today, I said, what do you think about the track here at Watkins Glen? They said, you know what, from racing in the simulator or doing some prep, watching videos and trying to understand where my braking points are and where I need to cut into the turn, I found that the racetrack is a lot more slick than I thought it was going to be. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And you talk about how track conditions start to change a lot. Well, you got it figured out. We were in nice, warm, bright sunshine all day long. Now we'll get some cloud cover coming over the racetrack. How is that going to impact here as we go throughout the rest of the event?
They're lined up 2 by 2, getting ready for the restart. When they come by this time, working down that little short chute.
Well, one driver we talked about racing in the top 5, the number 30 is Spencer Davis, and the Rick Jones Racing Ford came to pit road under the caution.
All right, heading
Crew
into
Chief Mark Rett said that the car was too loose. They made an adjustment on the number 30, so we'll see how Spencer can advance forward here before the break.
Field is off of turn number 6, headed to 7. We're going to go back to green flag racing, doubled up. Ty Gibbs pulls to driver left of your race leader, Max McLaughlin. They're off of 7. Pace car down pit lane. Green flag back out. We are underway.
Boy, when Gibbs got after the accelerator there on the front straightaway, the car stepped out, spun the tires. That allowed Max McLaughlin to dart down into turn number 1 and take over the top spot. They battle on for second, though, as a couple of cars go well wide off of turn 1, headed for the S's.
Tanner Gray with the preferred inside line through the S's. The number 15 machine. He'll retake the second spot. He started in the front row, lost it on the initial start to Ty Gibbs. Now move Tanner Gray up and back up into the second position.
Gray, who has never turned a lap at this racetrack until practice this morning, has never raced on a road course, was second in practice earlier today, second in qualifying. And now the battle is on for third behind him.
Well, and the same can be said for the leader. So we've got 2 guys in McLaughlin and Gray who have never raced on a road course before. They go 1-2.
Riley Herbst on the hunt, trying to find a way around that 17 machine directly ahead of Ty Gibbs. Monster Energy emblazoned on the hood of that 17 machine.
They are through turn 6, headed to 7. Nose to tail is the 3rd and 4th place drivers that Joe speaks of. Whoa, here we go. We got a battle shaping up. Chase Avery, Murray down into 1. 7 machine dives to the inside. It looks like he has the position as Avery goes wide, upholding the speed bump. Hold on to the spot though. Chase Avery did a great job to maintain that position.
Yeah, the 7 of Murray wasn't able to launch strong enough up off turn number 1 there as they head for the S's. Right behind them, though, a good battle. Derek Kraus trying to hang on to position. He now moves down to the inside lane of the racetrack with Sam Mayer. Drivers left into the bus stop.
That is also a battle for the championship. 6 points the difference between Sam Mayer and Derek Kraus. Kraus gets around him, move him up 1 spot, put Kraus into 8th, Sam Mayer to 9th.
Mayer going to try to take a look to driver's right coming through the carousel. Down the straightaway toward turn 6. Now, Mayer is known for his late race tactics. Very good at conserving his equipment. Not surprising to see him toward the back end of the top 10 right now. But at the end of the day, he's always there at the checkered flag, knocking on the door for a top 5 finish.
Sam Mayer, your championship point leader with the number 21 machine, qualified 9th. Has done quite a bit of road course racing in his young career. Came up through the karting ranks. The opposite cannot be said, or I should say for Derek Kraus, it is the opposite. Has no road course racing experience. Didn't come up through that path. So the difference between Kraus and Sam Mayer, as far as road course racing, are quite stark.
Finally, the 7 of Dylan Murray was able to get by Chase Cabry and pick up that spot. So now Murray up into the top 5. Cabry, who's won 2 of the last 3 races on the K&N Pro Series East, continuing to have solid runs here. But the battle we watch is that one for the championship. Derek Kraus in the 16 and Sam Mayer in the 21 car. Young 16-year-old driver. Really making a name for himself. Dominated the race just 1 week ago in Iowa. Led a majority of the event. Captured his 2nd win of the season in that 21 car.
and the 16, Derek Kraus. They are a full-time team on the West Series. Of course, Bill McAnally Racing, headquartered in California. Derek Kraus goes out there, has gone out there now in his third season, and runs the full West Series schedule. They weren't planning on running the full East Series schedule. They weren't planning on running for a championship, but a funny thing happened along the way. They went to the first race in Florida, and they won it. Well, now you got to go to the second race. Did good there. Next thing you know, they're leading the points in the East and in the West. So at this point, they figured, well, you know what? We have this opportunity. We might as well go for it. Try to do something that has never been done, and that is win the East Series championship and the West Series championship in the same year. Todd Gilliland came close a couple of years ago, but came up just a little bit short in the East Series chase. And let's hear more from Jim Trano. Head back downstairs.
Just adding to the minutia of what you're talking about, guys, the crew chief that took Harrison Burton into the championship in the East Series, robbing Todd Gilliland of the double, is Marty Lindley, crew chief now for Sam Mayer in the number 21. So that team, again, Harrison Burton winning the championship that Gilliland was trying to win in the East as he won the West. That's another layer to the twists of how this plays out for a championship here at Watkins Glen. And the 21 and the 16 battle continues.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. John Wood just went off course, so he's turned back around, back on track again. Dylan Murray wasn't that long ago where he was finding a way around Chase Capri to crack the top 5. Now he is hounding the back bumper of the 54 of Riley Herbst as they come back onto the straightaway. And white number 7 for Jefferson Pitch Racing. And by the way, they've won 10 of the last 11 road course races in K&N Pro Series action. One with Noah Gragson out at Sonoma Raceway earlier in the season. And here comes Murray trying to find a way around Riley Herbst as they head through the S's.
Jeff Jefferson atop the pit box there on that number 7, one of the principal owners of that team, the former racer himself, and a great racer actually, Jeff Jefferson, and he knows what a driver wants and what a driver needs, and what his driver did was take the spot away from the number 54.
They had to work around a slower machine up through the S's, but that 7 of Murray just powered his way up through the S's, got pretty good speed at the top of the hill and carried that onto the back straightaway. Look at the 21 though. He is all over Derek Kraus. We thought he was starting to fade a bit as Kraus went by him, but Sam Mayer has stayed right along with Derek Kraus.
Caught the comments from Sam Mayer pre-race with our Jim Trano. He talked about the fact that, yep, I'm point racing already. I'm looking at the big picture. We're going to make sure we preserve. We're going to make sure we get through this race. We're going to keep an eye on the 16. The best way to keep an eye on the 16 if he's right out your front bumper, and that's what we have there. Derek Kraus in the number 16 in the 8th position. Sam Mayer started 9th, currently running 9th in the number 21.
Well, it's a big day. Only 4 races left in the 2019 K&N Pro Series East season, and so we're 2/3 of the way through after today's race, and you've got to get all you can get and not leave any points on the table here as the season starts to wind down.
Max McLaughlin continues to lead. His story has been well documented. He's doing a great job. I am amazed at Tanner Gray. Here is a driver who last year was a championship winning driver in drag racing and said, you know what, I want to go race stock cars. And he is just doing a bang-up job in short order.
Yeah, he used to race maybe, 36 seconds all weekend long, 6 seconds at a time in his NHRA Pro Stock machine. Made the switch, and now that's a sport that takes a lot of focus as we watch. Here's Mayer into turn 6, drivers left, trying to find room underneath Derek Kraus, and they are wheel to wheel. So Mayer had been working over Derek Kraus, and he gets the job done here off turn number 7 onto the front straightaway, starting to charge forward.
And when Derek Kraus got on the brakes going down into turn number 6, you saw the car twitch a little bit under braking, so Derek got in there a little bit hotter than he wanted to into turn number 6.
There were some teams that were talking about that when they came in here this weekend. They got through practice and realized that, you know what, we've got to make some adjustments to those brake ducts. We talked a while ago about how these long straightaways, how fast this racetrack is, but you got to get it woe down pretty hard when you get down into turn 1 and into the bus stop where our leader, Max McLaughlin, is now. It uses a lot of brakes, and stopping power is critical. You saw that on the Kraus car, the 16 through turn 7 that last time.
Well, we have 20 laps in the books, and we are just approaching the halfway mark. And again, we will have a break at the halfway mark, right around lap 21, the conclusion of lap 21 or thereabouts. We're going to have the halfway break. It'll be a 5-minute controlled pit stop situation. So 20 are in the books, rapidly approaching the halfway mark and that halfway break.
We didn't talk much about Ruben Garcia Jr. so far. When we took the green flag a bit earlier in the day today, he was just inside the top 10. He's worked his way up nicely. He's up to 6th now. He's caught to the back bumper of the 54 of Riley Herbst.
And he recovered from a spin early in the race. He went around up in the carousel. Everybody missed him. He did a great job. Ruben got it righted, got back underway, and yeah, as you documented, Joe, he is back up into the 6th position.
This is his favorite racetrack, and that certainly goes a long way. Experienced road racer, champion of the NASCAR Mexico Series, and current point leader there as well here in 2019. And so you expect Ruben Garcia Jr. to be very, very good here at this racetrack, and he's proving his prowess here on the road course with a solid top 6 run here as we get through the halfway point.
Field gets the cross flags that time by. 21 are in the books. Again, we will have a halfway break. It'll be a 5-minute halfway break. Teams will come down pit lane into their pit stall.
Watching Garcia on the ISM Vision screen, you can really see him slide in that number 6 car through the turns. As he begins to challenge here in the 6th turn, as Herbst has problems in the 54, locks up the brakes, goes off track. He's able to rope it back in, but he loses a ton of real estate and a lot of momentum as Garcia now inside the top 5.
He loses the 5th position, does Riley Herbst, the driver from Las Vegas, Nevada, 20 years old, making sort of a one-off run here. Has raced select races in the Art Menard Series this year, as well as the East Series in trucks and the Xfinity. He even made a start at Riley Herbst up in Canada, the NASCAR Pinty Series. So Riley Herbst getting a lot of racing here in 2019, a lot of different series, and right now in the 6th position.
Yeah, but something has gone awry on that 54 car. Not just the issue over there in turn 6 the last time through where we saw smoke come off the tires, he locked up the brakes, and now he has lost a ton of positions here, falling back into the clutches of Derek Kraus, who's running in the 9th spot right now. So problems for that 54 of Riley Herbst may be a little bit more significant than locking up the tires into the turn.
Well, it comes at an optimum time. If you're going to have a problem right before the halfway break, the teams are going to, and there is the caution. Caution is out. So this will be our halfway break. So if there is an issue that can be corrected in 5 minutes, it's a great opportunity for Riley Herbst.
Well, the good thing is you do have a lot of time here at this racetrack. Caution laps take a while to get around here at Watkins Glen. It gives the team a little bit more time to try to get that car repaired here as we are just past the halfway point. 23 laps into the 41 here this afternoon in the Great Outdoors RV Superstore 100 at Watkins Glen International, as Max McLaughlin has had the dominant car all day long. And well, if you're from the Northeast, McLaughlin certainly a name very, very familiar. His dad, Mike McLaughlin, here working with the team this weekend. And I asked him, I said, Mike, are you involved? Are you spotting? He said, I'm involved just enough to stay out of the way, but be part of the action with my son as he goes out there and tries to make a name for him here in K&N Pro Series East competition. Remember, back in the 1997 season, if you were here with us then, for the longtime fans, an Xfinity Series race went to Mike McLaughlin, Magic Shoes, back in that day. It wasn't the Xfinity Series back in 1997, but he was able to get the win that day, and his son picking up with that pedigree of road racing like his dad had here at Watkins Glen, and see if he can take it for the second half and get the win this afternoon.
And Magic Shoes, a New York native, so that was a big win to win in your home state here at Watkins Glen International. And right now Max McLaughlin at the halfway point has led every lap. Our pole sitter has led every lap and has done so in pretty stout fashion.
This car here is very, very strong. It's a chassis that they've run. We talked about Brett Moffitt. We talked about Ryan Truex a little bit earlier in the race here today. But this is a very old chassis. You see these K&N series, you see all the young kids and the new drivers coming up. But this is a car that's been around the shop for a while. It's been tried and true well tested, this one car, and it's purpose built for this racetrack here at Watkins Glen. And boy, you can see the difference on the stopwatch and the strength out of Max McLaughlin.
Field will get bunched up behind that Toyota Supra Pace vehicle, and it will bring the field down to their pit stalls. The clock will start. The crews can do anything that you would normally do in a 5-minute pit stop. If you can get it done in 5 minutes, you can do it. They have 4 general tires in the pit area. They can put 4 tires on. They can fuel it up, but they have 5 minutes, and we see the crews getting ready down there on pit lane. Got those general tires up on the pit wall, and the drivers, again, will bring those machines down pit lane. And this is really a great savings measure, safety measure to do these pit stops under a controlled nature like this. You don't need to bring 5, 6, 7 guys just to do pit stops. It's a very controlled nature, and really a great applaud NASCAR, the West Series and the East Series for doing this. It really does help the teams out, and it gives the drivers an opportunity to just kind of breathe, rest for a couple of minutes, confer with the team, talk about what changes they're going to make, maybe what changes, how they're going to attack this second half.
All the teams will come to the attention of their crew. Once everybody is stopped here on pit lane, then NASCAR will give the go-ahead for the crews to go ahead and go over the wall and service their teams. Because it is a 5-minute intermission break here during this event, everybody will be able to go back out onto the racetrack in the same position that they came down pit lane. And so you've got time to go ahead and work on these race cars and get them ready. And there we see the NASCAR officials giving them the green light to start work.
And if you're positioned here along the front straightaway, you can see the action that's going on. And if you're around the grounds here, you can position yourself in front of one of the ISM vision screens and see what's happening on pit lane. What is happening on pit lane is our Jim Trado.
Well, we're in leader's pit. The number 1 is the second pit stall from turn 1. Officials are on the outside of the cars. The teams again have these 5 minutes to do anything they like on the cars. The left side tires have been changed. The outside tires on the number 1 of Max McLaughlin. His dad is here. Magic Shoes is watching intently from behind pit wall. Robert Huffman is the crew chief for the first time this year, moving over to Victoria Racing with this team. Worked last year with MDM Racing in the K&N East End ARCA Menard Series. Huffman's actually helping change the front tire. 4 minutes is the cue to the race driver, Max McLaughlin, asking if he needs some water here in this short respite for the driver who's led each and every one of the laps thus far. No is the answer. As we pan to the right, the number 21 of Sam Mayer is in as well. He's our current point leader. We talked about his points battle. They are indeed racing in mind of getting a podium finish. He said, we need to get a podium finish. That would be a good run for us. But the driver did say, as far as adjustments go, he said the car is just a tick tight than Sam Mayer. And he said, we want to loosen up just a little bit. And his crew chief, Marty Lindley, said, you know, we turn left and right here. Which way do you need it tightened up, to the right or to the left? If you think about that, on an oval track, they know it fits tight or loose. They want to change. He wants adjustment to when the car turns right-hand corners here at Watkins Glen for Sam Mayer in the 21, who's ahead of this number 1 here on pit road. So they're changing their tires, getting things worked over. But Sam Mayer again asking for just a spot, a tick-tight adjustment, wants that car to loosen up just a bit. And they're hoping to finish top 3 here today. They're not talking about racing for the victory. So points on the mind of our 16-year-old point leader in the 21, Sam Mayer.
Thank you, Jim Trado. Crews continue their work down on pit lane, and for the most part, things appear to be pretty well done, with the exception of the 54, Riley Herbst. Joe, you mentioned that you thought something was amiss on the 54 before that halfway break, and when they did come down pit lane, the hood went up on Riley Herbst's machine. So we hope to get more from Jim Trado on that, but there certainly appear to be something awry on the 54.
The crew very calm, cool, and collected as they work on that 54 for Riley Herbst as some of the teams begin to roll off of pit lane. Max McLaughlin has left his pit stall. Sam Mayer has left his pit stall, but now he sits paused about 5 stalls away here on pit road, has not continued to roll onto the racetrack. Many other teams are sitting here waiting for everybody to come out and get in line before we go back underway. Tanner Gray, Ty Gibbs, all making their way back out onto the racetrack. We've got 23 laps completed, the 41 here today. The Great Outdoors RV Superstore 100 here at Watkins Glen International. How quick are they going around the racetrack? Well, the best time of the race so far, 1 minute, 16 seconds, .220 by Max McLaughlin, and that is moving around this very tricky racetrack.
Average speed 115.718 miles per hour. That is a good mile and a half faster than the driver who turned the second quickest time. So Max McLaughlin certainly getting with the program. What a great way to start our race weekend here at Watkins Glen International. Thank you so much, race fans, for coming out. This is, of course, the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East. It is day 1 of 3 that make up our NASCAR race weekend. A lot of great traditions here at Watkins Glen. And hey, Crispy, next year, help me out with this calendar again. We're going to be a week or 2 later?
Later, almost more back, I think, more of a traditional date that Glenn had 20 years ago. We're talking about August 13th to the 16th. A lot of folks are already starting making plans because, you know, the hotel rooms go by quick. A lot of people are just repeat customers. But August 13th through the 16th, 2020, and down to Jim Trado.
Riley Herbst did pit. Again, Riley Herbst raced the full K&N Pro Series West a few years ago. He's a former Rookie of the Year in the ARCA Menard Series. Racing now part-time in the Truck Series for Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series as well. This DGR Crosley team headed up by Kevin Mannion, 8 years removed from a Daytona 500 championship as a crew chief, just told me that they had an electrical issue. Now they fear they may have a fuel pickup issue on the number 54 Monster Energy Orca Coolers Toyota for Riley Herbst down here on pit road. So they hope they have it righted. It didn't rear its head after practice until about lap 19, according to Mannion. They're fighting through that. They hope they have it repaired. But again, it was something they thought they had repaired prior to the drop of the green flag. So mystery issue, if you will, fuel or electrical or both on Herbst's number 54 machine.
Whether it's your street car or your race car, Jim, the last thing you want to hear is that there's an electrical problem because, man, those things are hard to track down.
We think we have it fixed.
Go get them, kid. We think we got it.
It'll be fine. Trust me.
No, but those are tricky, and boy, I had a personal vehicle recently where I just fought electrical problems like crazy, and it's frustrating because, like you saw on the racetrack, he was so good. He was inside the top 5 with Riley Herbst in that 54 car. Next thing you know, he gets on the brakes, and all of a sudden, he starts losing power in that race car, and so things can happen just that quickly for these machines. As everybody in the S's, NASCAR gives a go-ahead. The pace car will start to roll again. The field's starting to make their way back up through the S's. Get lined up in rows of 2 here so we can get this race back underway. In the second half of today's event, should be a good one. Everybody's tested the waters, made some of those adjustments that Jim Trado was talking about just a moment ago down on pit lane. Now the question is, were they the right ones?
Were they the right ones? Do the tires match up the way that you need them to? And what will happen here in the closing laps? Looks like we'll have 18 laps in this final segment to take us to the 41 that make up the Great Outdoors RV Superstore 100 at the Glen. Glad to have you with us. Hope you're enjoying your race weekend. It is our Fast Friday, final event of our Fast Friday. Bringing down the curtain here, day 1 of 3. So much more on tap. Love to have you back Saturday and Sunday. Weather promises to be perfect, and it's just going to be a great weekend here. It's boy, the sights and the sounds and the smells. When I go outside the booth, I get smells of grills and everything just cooking up, and it's making me hungry.
And my walk over here from Victory Lane after pre-race, it was like barbecue smell, campfire. Like, I mean, it was just awesome. You know, I mean, a race weekend, and then they're throwing the green flag, and there goes the cars flying on by. It doesn't get much better than that here at Watkins Glen. The sights and sounds of racing here in New York. K&N Pro Series East on track here on a Friday afternoon to kick off the race weekend and a big NASCAR weekend here in the state of New York. Max McLaughlin out in front. And, you know, we started talking about Tanner Gray, and then the action started heating up as it often does here at this racetrack. Gray is coming around to these racetracks for the very first time. Remember, he won the Pro Stock Championship of the National Hot Rod Association, racing a quarter mile, 6.5 seconds at a time, 200 change miles per hour. Now he comes here and has to go right and left. Focus is different. You got to hit your line differently. The way you approach the race is different.
You got to hit the brakes.
You got to hit the brakes. Normally you only hit the brakes once or twice in a drag race, at the starting line and at the finish line. But for Tanner Gray, doing a pretty good job. He said, you know, I was worried about what passing would be like. You know, we didn't do a lot of that in practice. It's kind of a different skill when you go out here on the racetrack, and he's trying to work his way through that, but we see problems now here on the 17 of Ty Gibbs. Gibbs dropping to the back of the pack here as the field starts to roll through turn 6. Let's go back down to Jim Trado.
Fuel infraction on the pit stop for the 17 of Gibbs. He must go to the tail.
They're telling us that they did not have a catch can in the back of that car when they fueled the number 17 for Ty Gibbs. So he has to go to the back of the pack. So keep an eye on him, see how far he can charge up through the field.
Pace car is in. We're off of turn number 7. Looking to get this thing back underway. Waiting for the green flag, and we are back to racing. Watkins Glen down into turn number 1. Here comes Riley Herbst.
And Tanner Gray. Max McLaughlin just did not come up to speed. Tanner Gray to the race lead. Herbst misses the corner, and Max McLaughlin's able to get through and go back to second.
Sam Mayer on the move in the 21. Your championship point leader up into the 3rd spot. They're through the S's and heading to the long back straightaway.
So Kevin Harvick is the closer in the Cup Series. Sam Mayer has got to be the closer here in the K&N Pro Series East. Already back inside the top 3. A couple of cars side by side. One nearly caught the blue Armco barrier through the S's. They're 3 wide headed to the bus stop.
Right in that mix with Derek Kraus in 16. He has seen the leaders get away from him. Max McLaughlin, Tanner Gray, and Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer went from 7th to 3rd.
Really good restart that time for Sam Mayer. Exactly what he needed. We were watching that championship battle. So here's Mayer up inside the top 5 now. Where is 16 of Derek Kraus? Well, he's fighting for his life at the back of the field. He's all the way at the tail end, and he has got a long way to go. We're talking about that championship battle. You can't afford to lose ground at this point in the season.
18 car goes wide. That is Colin Garrett. Colin Garrett currently shown in the 10th position. Exiting turn number 6, got up over the rumble strips and wider than every other driver. Gathers it back in, crossing the stripe for lap number 24 is Max McLaughlin.
Derek Kraus sits 11th. Behind him is Brandon Jones in the 19 car, but Jones had problems earlier. He's a couple of laps down. So for Derek Kraus, there's a couple of cars that are still on the lead lap that he's got to worry about, but there's only 13. So Kraus not having to run here at Watkins Glen. He wanted to for the championship. Back in 11th, 13 cars on the lead lap. Not a good recipe when you're trying to get as most points as you can.
Through the back half of the course and the inner loop goes our race leaders, and there is Ty Gibbs, the number 17 driver, battling with Spencer Davis. That is for position. Ty Gibbs clawing his way back up through the field.
Position number 7, and Gibbs is able to get through into turn number 6, but Davis trying to get back to him, and he puts the bumper to him through turn 6. Gibbs goes off course, driver right, but he's hanging on to it. Here comes Davis now through turn 7.
And don't look now, but up front, Tanner Gray is hanging with Max McLaughlin. McLaughlin has led it from the drop of the green, opened up in that first about a second a lap. He had in excess of an 8-9 second lead shortly after the drop of the green. The first green, now the second green to start the second half, and Tanner Gray is hanging right with Max McLaughlin.
I don't know what Tanner Gray figured out here in the second half of the race, but he was just a 1/10 of a second faster than Max McLaughlin the last time through. Into the bus stop, here they come, under braking. Tanner Gray closes a gap down some more. Max McLaughlin looks in the rearview mirror, and Gray is coming.
They are through the carousel. The right-hander, sweeping right-hander downhill. Also a battle for 3rd. Chase Cabry all over the rear bumper of Sam Mayer.
Cabry working over Sam Mayer here. Headed toward turn number 6. Mayer holding on. The crew chief that works with Cabry in that 4 car, Doug Howe, led the effort in suspension for the MDM Motorsports entry of Harrison Burton. When he was running in the K&N Pro Series, he's very, very experienced. Cabry says he's the guy that's making the magic work. Another solid run for Cabry. He's going to take a look here. Down into turn number 1, under braking, can't do it. Mayer holds on.
Heavy braking down into the 90-degree right-hand turn downhill. They get down to the S's, the lowest point on the course, and then they will go up the back straightaway and uphill all the way to the inner loop, which is the highest point on this race course. 2.45 miles, the shorter course here that NASCAR uses. And right now we take a look at that battle for third. It is on.
Mayer was much better getting through the S's that time, but through the bus stop, Cabry's a lot faster. Looking to drivers right through the carousel. He's right to the back bumper. Gives him the bumper. Cabry goes sideways. They both wash up the hill. And now here comes Riley Herbst in the 54 to take advantage.
Chase Cabry wanted the spot. He's got it. And now Sam Mayer has to deal with Riley Herbst. They're in turn number 6. Herbst on the outside. They touch. They still bang off of each other through turn number 6.
Exciting action here in the late stages of today's Great Outdoors RV Superstore 100. Off turn number 7, Riley Herbst is able to get the better of Sam Mayer as they come back out of the front straightaway. Here comes Ruben Garcia to put the move on him.
Ruben Garcia now underneath Sam Mayer up in turn number 1. Ruben Garcia Jr. in the number 6 will take the position, and Sam Mayer loses 3 spots in short order.
Boy, Mayer, that great restart he had when we got back underway after that halfway break, he just gave it all back in the matter of about a lap and a half. So Mayer, losing those valuable championship points, he would still walk away with the championship lead if the race ended right now, but not as much as he would hope. Derek Krause still running back in the 11th spot.
Up on our ISM Vision screens here at the start-finish line, we have a replay going through the inner loop. Chase Cabry gets into the rear bumper of the 21 car and drives him up the hill, goes down to the inside, opens the door for Riley Herbst. Big bang boom. Sam Mayer loses 2 spots.
What makes the racing here at Watkins Glen so good. Now Mayer, how aggressive is he going to be? Just got a little bit wide that time coming through the carousel into turn number 6, but he's got his speed back, he's got his momentum back. One of the hardest things to do though in road racing is to get your rhythm back. And Mayer is there, trying to challenge. This time he goes driver's left on Ruben Garcia, but there wasn't any racing room there as they came back to the front straightaway.
Well, one driver who has gotten his rhythm back is our race leader, Max McLaughlin. He has opened up an advantage. In fact, that last lap, he was half a second faster than Tanner Gray, so kind of getting his strut back is Max McLaughlin.
Yeah, the lap before that, we were watching this great battle with Sam Mayer. Max McLaughlin checking out, went 1:15.990, the fastest lap of the weekend, 26 laps into the race.
Boy, that battle just will not quit. The battle we speak of, Sam Mayer all over Ruben Garcia Jr. They're in the inner loop. Mayer's not going to be able to make the move through the inner loop, but they exit there and head to the carousel.
Mayer got stuck on the driver's left of Garcia coming out of the S's, and it wasn't the preferred position getting down into the bus stop. But Mayer showing speed here as they make their way back onto the straightaway, trying to gain some ground on Ruben Garcia. But Garcia's an ace when it comes to the road courses. He's going to be tough to find a way around here at the Glen. Turn 6. Garcia with the advantage in the 6 car. Mayer trying to set him up, getting down into turn 7. That's all he needed. Garcia got a little bit out of shape. Can Mayer take advantage and outbrake him getting down into turn 1?
Down into the 90, Ruben Garcia holds the advantage. Single file Sam Mayer will ride in his shadow. Sam Mayer currently shown in the 6th position, all over the rear bumper of Ruben Garcia Jr. Ruben Garcia Jr. is the number 6 machine. Here comes Sam Mayer. They're in the carousel. He's going to put the bumper to Ruben Garcia. Can't loosen him up, can't get around him. Sam Mayer can't make the pass. They're up in turn number 6. Ruben Garcia, the tussle for the 5th spot is on. Riley Herbst, P4, likes what he sees out of his rear view mirror as Ruben Garcia Jr. and Sam Mayer are going at it, and that is allowing Ruben Garcia to stretch it out. Don't look now, Sam Mayer, but here comes Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs in the number 17 machine is on the move. Remember, he had to fall to the back of the field for a gas violation and pit violation, did not have a catch can when they fueled that car. So Ty Gibbs had to go to the tail end of the field for our restart at halfway, and he is marching his way back up through the field. Sam Mayer gonna try again in the carousel. Sticks his nose underneath Ruben Garcia. He'll make the pass. That opens up the door for Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs not able to get around Ruben Garcia. Garcia gathers it back up, exiting the carousel. Got up into the second groove in that right-hander. Ruben Garcia Jr. now in 6th. Will move Sam Mayer back up in the 5th spot. Derek Kraus comes across the start-finish line in the number 16 in the 11th position, and his championship hopes are slowly losing grip. Derek Kraus came in here 6 points behind Sam Mayer. Needed a good run. Sam Mayer in the top 5 and Derek Kraus in 11th. Be a big point hit for young Derek Kraus, the two Wisconsin drivers battling for the championship in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East. Meanwhile, well out front is Max McLaughlin. Chase Cabry to the inside. That's P2. Problems on Tanner Gray. Tanner Gray's number 15 appears to be off the pace. Ruben Garcia Jr., I checked that, Chase Cabry just easily drove around the 15 of Tanner Gray. Now down into the 90. Tanner Gray will lose another spot. Jim Trado, what's the story?
Well, the smoke we saw briefly on the right front of you saw it around the course as well. They thought maybe it was a tighter up. As it increased, they thought perhaps it's a wheel bearing issue on the 15. His team, directed by Seth Smith, told his driver dial some rear brake in. Last to the finish of this one. Conservation survival mode. In the number 15 of Tanner Gray, who got with the darling of our leader. Now drifting back and losing a spot to Sam Mayer in car 91.
He'll lose his spot and yet another spot. Tanner Gray pulls off. Tanner Gray pulls off at the inner loop. He missed the inner loop. You can stop down there in the inner loop and keep going. You can't advance your position, but it looks like Tanner Gray has come to a stop up there in the inner loop. A tough break for the driver who was battling for the lead. Gaggle of cars up in corner number 6. Riley Herbst leads them. Sam Mayer, Ty Gibbs. They all give chase. Riley Herbst, that is the battle for the 3rd spot down the front straightaway. Lap number 33 in the book. 33 in the books, 41 make up the distance here. The Great Outdoors RV Superstore 100, and Sam Mayer gets around Riley Herbst through the S's. Riley Herbst will lose 2 additional spots. Closing laps are getting crazy here at Watkins Glen. Move Sam Mayer up into the 3rd spot. Oh, problems on the inner loop. Riley Herbst goes around. Dylan Murray involved in the number 7. Here comes the field. Riley Herbst in the middle of the course. On track. Stalled the number 54, and we go caution. Oh my.
You mentioned earlier about the spotters. There's a spotter stand right there by the inner loop, which helps every car coming to that off that blind right-hander coming off the backstretch to make sure that they are being told car in the middle of the track so that they don't hit it. So it's a lot of driver and a lot of spotters to get guys to.
And right there was a lot of luck too, because Riley Herbst was facing the wrong way in the middle of the inner loop, smack dab in the middle of the racetrack. Cars were going around him on both sides. Riley Herbst, who was in the third position, goes around in the inner loop and brings out the caution. We are under caution for the third time here today. Here is a replay all by himself. Riley Herbst locks him up, goes through the grass. I checked that. I don't know if he was all by himself. I guess that's not my spot to say. But Dylan Murray also right in there, as Tanner Gray has made his way to pit lane in the number 15, and Riley Herbst has made his way to his pit stall in the number 54. So the closing laps here of the Great Outdoors RV Superstore 100 at the Glen, and man, oh man, it's getting crazy. Race fans, lightning has been detected within 10 miles of Watkins Glen International. Lightning again has been detected within 10 miles of Watkins Glen International. We would ask you, race fans, to please clear the seating area. Again, lightning has been detected within 10 miles of Watkins Glen International. We would ask you to please clear the seating area and implement your own personal safety plan. Again, lightning has been detected within 10 miles of Watkins Glen International. We would ask you to please clear the seating area. The race is under caution. Take the necessary precautions as we ask you to implement your own personal safety plan. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, may I have your attention? May I have your attention? Lightning has been detected within 10 miles of Watkins Glen International. We ask you to please clear the grandstands and find appropriate shelter. If you are staying on property, we would ask you to please implement your personal safety plan. Please be sure to secure all items at your campsite. Again, lightning has been detected within 10 miles of Watkins Glen International. We would ask you to please clear the grandstand area and implement your own personal safety plan.
Check, check.
So the machines have been brought down pit lane where they will be parked. Drivers getting out of the cars. Again, lightning has been detected now within 8 miles of Watkins Glen International. So we are under a hold. We are under a hold at this time as lightning once again has been detected within 8 miles here. We would ask you, if you have not done so already, to please clear the grandstand area. We would ask you to please clear the grandstand area for your own safety. And again, if you are staying on grounds, we would ask you to be sure to secure all your items at your campsite. Please implement your personal safety plan and take the necessary precautions. So we are under a hold for the time being. It is our intention to finish the Great Outdoors RV Superstore 100 at the Glen. We would ask for your patience. Hope that you can understand. We stopped this race for your safety. Again, with lightning in the area, we would ask you to please clear the grandstands and seek appropriate shelter.